BFF claimed she hooked up with my BF. After he gave her a ride home, I asked him and he says she's lying. When I confronted her, she started harassing us for months until he left. I've been best friends with Becca since 2010. We were college roommates, and then after we graduated, we still lived together up until I moved in with my boyfriend Nate in 2019. One thing about Becca is that she's always had a drinking problem. For as long as I've known her, she's done stuff while drunk that has sometimes caused problems in our friendship. She just tries to stay sober. But every few years, something will happen to make her start drinking again, which is what happened earlier this summer. So last Saturday, Becca called me because she was drunk somewhere and needed a ride home. I couldn't go pick her up because I had the flu and was on cold medicine, so Nate went to get her instead. A couple of days after that, I started noticing that Nate was being weird with his phone. Normally, he leaves it out on the coffee table if we're watching TV or whatever, but he started putting it face down so I couldn't see what notifications he was getting. My first thought was that he was trying to plan a surprise, and because of the timing, I thought that maybe Becca was helping him. Yesterday I saw Becca. I told her that Nate was being sneaky all of a sudden and asked her if he said anything about maybe proposing soon. She asked me if I looked through his phone and I said no. Becca started crying and told me that she and Nate hooked up in his car the night he came to pick her up. Her excuse was that she was really drunk and didn't fully know what she was doing. She said she'd been texting him since, telling him that he needed to tell me what happened, or else she was going to. I asked Becca to show me the texts, but they were all in the app Signal, which deletes messages after a day. So all I could see was that she and Nate had a chat thread, but nothing that they said. I told her to text Nate in front of me so I could see what he said, and she did. But we got no read receipt and no response at all, so it didn't prove anything. I asked Becca if she was sure she wasn't so drunk that she maybe imagined it or thought a dream was real. She absolutely lost it on me and said that she knows she's horrible when she drinks, but she's not delusional and she doesn't make things up. She said that I could believe her or not. It's my choice, but she was telling me the truth. I said I needed to go home and talk to Nate. When I got home, I confronted Nate with what Becca had said. He acted shocked, denied that anything like that had happened at all, and said he didn't know why she'd think so or say so. He said that he had just given Becca a ride home. The only thing that happened was that they talked about how he and I had been together for a long time and how we should get married already. He admitted they were talking on Signal the next couple of days, but he said that it was about exactly what I thought. He was asking her about engagement rings and what kind of proposal I would want. Nate replied to Becca's message from before, asking her if she made up a story about them hooking up to not ruin the surprise about his proposal. She texted him back that there was no proposal and to stop playing dumb. Then Nate called her, pretending like I wasn't in the room, and told her that she needed to stop whatever she was trying to do because we were on the verge of breaking up. He'd rather just have the surprise ruined. Becca kept telling Nate to stop lying until he got angry and hung up on her. I really didn't know what to think and I still don't. Right now, Nate is really upset and not really talking to me much. He says that it's bad enough that Becca acted insane and ruined his plan to propose, but it's even worse that I believed her lies even a little and would think that he would ever cheat on me. Becca texted me saying she was sorry, but otherwise I haven't talked to her either. I don't want to think that Nate would cheat on me or that he'd take advantage of Becca if she was that drunk, but I feel like I can't be 100% sure because I've known Becca for 13 years, and I also just can't believe that she'd lie to me about something this important. I know that she does have a drinking problem. I can believe that she'd sleep with my boyfriend if she was drunk out of her head. She's done some pretty awful things in the past when she's been drunk. I don't want to wrongly accuse Nate of something he didn't do, but I don't want to be an idiot. Update 1. So on Thursday night, after I got everyone's advice, I told Nate that I had found out a way to recover deleted messages from Signal. He immediately took out his phone, opened the app, and asked me to show him how to do it. I already thought that must mean he was telling me the truth because he didn't panic or hesitate. All which was good. Because when I tried to download Signal on my old phone, it turned out that it's too old to support the current version of the app, so it wouldn't work. Nate then asked me if we were going to have to go out and buy a new phone for me to believe that he was telling me the truth. He said that he was willing to do it if that's what it would take. I told Nate it wasn't that I didn't believe him. I just wanted to have some proof because I couldn't understand why Becca would lie about it. Nate said that she would lie about it because she's a crazy drunk. There's literally no way for a non-crazy person to understand why she would do anything. Once the messages proved that he didn't, he never wanted me talking to her again. Then he said to get up because if we were going to the Verizon store, we had to get there before it closed. By then, I completely believed Nate anyway, so I told him we didn't have to go anywhere or get a new phone, and that I believed him and I knew he didn't cheat on me and that he would never do that. Nate said that he would hope I know that. He didn't understand why I didn't take his word for it in the first place. I started trying to explain why I didn't want to just immediately dismiss what Becca had said happened, but Nate said that he really couldn't listen to that right now. I said that was fair and agreed that I would cut Becca off. But first, I wanted to try to get her to admit that nothing happened. Nate said fine, but to call her with my phone on speaker. He thought he also deserved to hear her admit that she was lying. So I called Becca. I said the same thing to her that I said to Nate, that I figured out how to recover deleted messages on Signal. She asked me why I would need to do that. That was when I knew for sure that she was definitely making it up and not just confused somehow. I said it was because I wanted to have proof of what she and Nate talked about. Becca asked me if I saw their messages, so I lied and said yes. After that, Becca just went silent until finally I asked her if she was going to say anything. Then she asked me if that meant that we were engaged now. So then I really just lost it on her. I screamed at her asking her if she was serious, what was wrong with her, and how could that possibly be all that she had to say. Becca started screaming back, telling me to calm down and about how obviously I never believed her anyway. Because it's not like we broke up over it. I was crying by that point. Because of that, I couldn't really say anything else. Then Nate told Becca to go F*** herself and to never ever contact either one of us ever again. He hung up on her. A minute later, Becca sent me a completely unhinged text that I'm quoting here verbatim apart from changed names. Courtney, you are supposed to be my friend for life. You are supposed to be there for me. You are supposed to be my person. But then you meet Nate and now you only care about Nate. Everything is about Nate. Tell me why Nate comes to pick me up when I call you. I called you, not your precious Nate. I only want you to see how F*** get up this is, but do you? No, of course you don't. Of course you choose Nate over me like you always do and like you always will. You pretend to care about me, but I can see you don't care. It is pathetic. Courtney, you are a pathetic woman who would choose a man over a friend. But since you can't say it yourself, I will. Since you have to have your sweet perfect little baby Nate do it for you, I will. Goodbye, Courtney, is that what you want? Goodbye forever. I hope you got what you want. Asterisk. There were the 3 dots after that, showing she was still typing more. But I blocked her before she sent it. I don't care about anything else that she has to say. I'm sure it's all just going to be more about why this is my fault, or justifications about why what she did wasn't that bad and I should forgive her. I know Nate is probably right. There's no non-crazy logic behind why Becca would stoop to doing something like this. But obviously I've still been thinking about it. My best guess is that whoever said Becca still blames me and Nate, apparently mostly Nate, for her being a drunk mess who can't get her life together is right. It seems like she somehow thought that if she said she hooked up with Nate, I'd break up with him but still want to be friends with her. Then everything would magically be fixed. As far as stuff with Nate, I asked him if he thought he could ever forgive me for doubting him. He said that since I came to my senses and I cut Becca off, he guesses we can try to put it behind us. I don't think he's still going to propose anytime soon after this. I probably wouldn't if I was him. From what Nate said, he didn't actually do any planning yet other than asking Becca about rings and if I'd think a public proposal was tacky or not. All he was doing so far was trying to get ideas without me knowing he was talking to her about it. So just based on that, I think probably it's not going to happen for a while, if it still does at all. Also, thanks to everyone for the advice and support. I know I didn't respond to many comments, but I really did appreciate everyone who cared enough to want to help. Comments where OP has replied. Commenter. I'm curious if Becca ever said anything to you when she hooked up with guys you liked. Do you think she was blocking you on purpose to keep you for herself? Did she try anything with Nate before you were exclusive? Or was she just drunk and looking for hookups? OP. I don't think she ever put enough thought into those hookups to be malicious like that. She was just inconsiderate and would go after whoever. Commenter. Did you ever confront her or just let it go? More than one time seems like a pattern. OP, we definitely got into arguments about it at the time, but it was mostly just kind of college and not really an actual confrontation about why she kept doing it, I guess. One last thought from OP. I'm sure she won't just go away. I'm already expecting her to try to get our other friends to get in the middle of everything as soon as she figures out she's actually blocked and I'm not just ignoring her. I hope she won't try to do anything else, but I guess at this point I really can't know with her. I'm hoping things are okay with Nate. I think in a while they will be. Update. I got a few messages asking for an update, so here it is. I'll keep it as short as I can. Unfortunately, I have nothing good to report. It turned out that whatever was going on with Becca that caused her to make false accusations about Nate was the beginning of some kind of a psychotic break. After I blocked her, she made a whole bunch of fake accounts and started sending me completely unhinged messages about how I ruined her life and threatening to get revenge on me and Nate. This went on for literally months, with her sending me dozens of messages a day. I found out from other friends that she was making multiple posts on Facebook every day. These were semi-coherent rants about how much she hated me, and how I was evil and ruined her life intentionally. I tried to talk to the police 2 different times to get a restraining order because I was afraid that Becca was going to show up at our apartment and attack me or Nate. I literally even got a front door camera because I was so scared that she was going to hurt us. The police said that because Becca wasn't threatening actual violence, she was just a nuisance. They couldn't do anything. They acted like I was an idiot because it isn't illegal to talk on Facebook. They basically told me to just keep blocking her whenever she made a new account and eventually she'd get bored and move on. Then finally there was an incident where someone broke the windshield of Nate's car while he was parked at his work. I guess it could have just been a random act of vandalism because this wasn't the only car that got windows broken. But at the time I was 100% sure it was Becca, so I went to the police again. Eventually, an officer went to talk to Becca. She said she didn't touch Nate's car. And again I have no proof that she did. After the police talked to her, Becca got put into a psych ward for a week. Apparently, her apartment was filthy, she was drunk out of her mind 24/7, and a danger to herself. I have not heard anything from Becca after she left the psych ward. I don't know if she was diagnosed with something or if she's medicated now or what. I found out that she moved in with her dad, who, thank God, lives in a different state. I look at her social media every so often to make sure she's not posting about me again, and that she's nowhere around me. I haven't mentioned Nate much in this update because we're no longer together. He broke up with me after the windshield incident because he couldn't handle being constantly harassed by Becca. To be honest, I don't think he ever forgave me for not taking his side immediately when everything started. It really hurt, but I can't blame him. I tried to talk to him about fixing things between us after Becca was gone, but he just wasn't interested. Next story, Dad. Story 2. Had been lonely since Mom passed away 4 years ago, and during dinner he revealed he's been sleeping with my fiancé for months now. They're dating each other after losing all their friends. My mom died 4 years ago from cancer, and me and my fiancé used to go his place for dinner. Nothing unusual about that. He was all lonely, but lately his mood had improved and I was about to find out why. So yeah, my dad invited us over to dinner, and then after dinner they told me they needed to talk to me, which was odd to hear. Dad, we needed to tell you something. Turns out they have had a sexual relationship for over 3 months, and me being asked how many times I was starting to hyperventilate at that point, and they were both reluctant to share that. I eventually got the full story. Won't write that here, painful enough, and feel stupid for asking. I walked out and left them both and told Dad, "You want her, you can keep her. You are both finished with me," and told my fiancé to give me the keys to my apartment. She was crying as she was struggling to get the key off her chain. I did it for her, gave her the other keys back, and told her I would pack her things, and she could come over and pick it up when I was finished. Her mom came over and picked up her things. She actually sent her mom to do it. I let her in, and she had gotten the full story and was so sorry for everything, hoping I would get through this. My dad and I guess ex-fiancé now have been texting and calling me for the last week. I have not responded or answered any of their calls, and my dad even called the cops because he was worried I might hurt myself. Oh geez, thanks for the concern for my mental health, Dad. Maybe you should have considered that before, my fiancé. So I get 2 officers at my door who told me they had received a call from my dad, worried I might harm myself. I told the officer I was not suicidal and explained what had happened, and they both looked disgusted and apologized for bothering me and what I was going through. The look of pity from the officers made me feel worse. I felt just ashamed having to tell these 2 guys that. Not sure why I felt shame, but I did. Anyways, Dad wants me to talk to him. I have no idea what to do here. I have no other family, no aunts or uncles, and now no fiancé either anymore. I kept busy by going to the gym and trying to live my life as normally as possible. My fiancé has moved back with her parents, but she is apparently still in contact with my dad, since dad keeps texting me that she is worried about me. Apparently I am the jerk since he feels that I should not treat her this way. So yeah, I am the jerk apparently. I mean, what do I even do here? I have ended it with her, clearly, but then there is my dad who is now trying to fix things and wants me to forgive her. I honestly just want them both to leave me alone. Update 1. Hey everybody, thanks for all the messages and advice. I did not expect this post to blow up as much as it did, but I just wanted to post an update on how things stand. First of all, I am doing okay. In fact, I have slept well these last few nights and had support from some unexpected places. Many of you wanted me to go public and tell everyone. Well, I did not have to. My now ex-fiancé took care of that for me. She told her best friend expecting sympathy. Instead, she raged at her. And now most of her friends and mine are now fully aware of what has happened. Her best friend called me and we spoke for over an hour. Apparently, whatever angry thought I may have had regarding my now ex-fiancé was nothing to what her and her friends subjected her to. They have completely cut her off, and they even asked her if she slept with any of their fathers. Her best friend also told me that she still believes I will forgive her and that she wants me back. Not happening and seems to be a little, shall we say, unstable right now. She seems like a total wreck. I also spoke to her parents and told them to give her time and not kick her out. I honestly, despite what she did, don't want her to do anything stupid. Her parents are probably more pissed at her than I am. I also met Dad, we spoke in person, and honestly the reason we spoke is that I wanted to pick up some things from home. I had a friend of mine with me just in case I felt the urge to punch him. He made no attempt at small talk, and my friend was walking very close by me like he was expecting me to attack him, and was ready to restrain me if it happened. So that's the update. GF is a nervous wreck. Dumped by all her friends. Her BFF and I have become good friends. No, we are not sleeping together or anything like that, but she has supported me and we have kept talking on the phone. She had been cheated on herself but could not even begin to imagine what I went through. Honestly, I feel okay. My dad, I have cut off completely after I got some of my mom's things, including her wedding ring. I am taking this, I told him, he did not argue, you can have this, and gave him my engagement ring. Nothing expensive, and honestly, I did not know what I was going to do with it anyways. He just looked at me and now finally it dawned upon him just how badly he had messed up. I also told him to stop telling her that I may forgive her. You are messing with her head, and she needs to realize it's over. He said he would not contact her again. I told him I did not care if he did or not. I got in the car and left and felt a lot better. So that's the update, folks. I may have gone too far with the ring business, but honestly, if he wants her, then they can marry her. I have had great support from many people, including here, and am ready to move the hell on. But if you have any questions, I can try to answer if anything is unclear. Update 2. Hi, just decided to post one final update since I've been bombarded with questions on how I'm doing, and if anything has happened. I am doing okay. My dad and my ex-fiancé have not contacted me at all and have left me alone. I have had moments where I felt lonely and angry, but I had people who have been there for me. My ex-fiancé's BFF and I have gotten close, and we decided to go on a trip, me and her. We are not together, but we have gotten close. Dad and my ex-fiancé, like many predicted, have been talking, and someone spotted them together in town. I kind of suspected it would happen. It honestly does not bother me. They deserve each other, and I'm just thankful I found out before I married her. More people have found out what happened now. Dad and her have lost a huge part of their social circle, so I guess with many disgusted with them both, they found each other. Misery loves company after all. I also made it clear to my other friends that if they want to contact her and talk to her, that also does not bother me. I don't want to control anyone or make anyone feel they have to stay away from her because of me. I am not going to be vindictive. That only hurts me in the long run. So to summarize, I am doing okay, still seeing a therapist, and have gotten close to my ex-fiancé's former best friend. I do get depressed and feel anger and lonely sometimes, but I have learned to deal with it. I spent an entire weekend cleaning my apartment to get my ex-fiancé's perfume smell out of my apartment, since that was a big trigger for me, and decided to buy a new bed and a new couch and redecorate it a bit. Sold the old bed and my old couch, and honestly it feels like a new apartment, a fresh start if you will. Thanks to everybody for your advice, concerns, and comments. They helped a lot, and needed to vent about it.